Alright guys, this is part 2 to hunting cutovers. I wanted to show you guys this cutover because this cutover is probably only a year old. It's probably a mile away from the our club's cutover down the road from here. This property is not ours, but it's right beside the main road coming down to our cutover. So I just wanted to try to show you some different cutovers and how I would hunt these cutovers. And another example is just across the road from this cutover is a cutover that's been probably 4 years old. As you can see, the pines are growing back, and those pines are probably 5 feet, 6 feet tall now. So if you get in the middle of those pines, you can't see the road from inside those pines. That's another good place for deers to bed down and just hide from the predators. So just remember, those deers will love to bed down in those high, tall pines. So, but this right here, I don't know why they left that strip of woods right there next to the road. It's not a creek going down through there or anything, but that just brings another opportunity to be able to hunt this cutover just behind that tree line right there. And like I said, this another tree line that's, I don't know why they left that. It's not a creek, I don't believe, going down through there. It may be a ditch, but it just brings more opportunity for you to set up, be able to get a tree stand or something else in there to be able to hunt this cutover. As you can see in the background, it's basically $1 million property back there in the background. Used to be, I believe it was Whitetail Properties on that land, but they sold it here in I guess probably last 2-3 years here. But they have a lot of big nice fields and lakes and all that good stuff in the back of that property, and you see it's close to this property, which brings the opportunity to be able to catch some of those deers trying to get to that property. But here I would just showing you some places you can put some food plots just on the little cuts along that tree line, which would help the food plots in that cut right there along that tree line. But we tried to get this land years ago. There was a couple of guys that hunted it and really didn't hunt it much. We never really seen any activity in there, but it was a nice big hardwood property. It had some pines mixed in there with nice food plot in the middle of it. I just can't tell what that food plot was, but it right now it's got a lot of, like I said, opportunities, because all these little tree lines and strips of trees that they left that really breaks this property up. As you can see here, it's a nice cut back up in the top part of that the woods right there. You could probably put, I would say that's probably 3 to 4 acres, a big food plot in that back cut, which would, just be isolated by itself. And I mean, you're going to spend some money trying to get that food plot in there, because you're going to have to bring a dozer in to knock all the stumps up and everything. But that would be a great place to put a big food plot. So see this area here in the front, you can still see it from the road, and I don't know if you can tell by this picture here, but it's kind of basically a hill, so it wouldn't be the greatest place, but I'm pretty sure you can get, a nice decent food plot in there. But like I said, in the back, you can see that property in the back that has the lakes and the big fields and the food plots back there in the back. I mean, if you wanted to, I wouldn't recommend it, but you could probably hunt the line and probably catch some of the bigger deers traveling to that food plot and that lake and that property in the back. But sometimes hunting the line is a good thing, sometimes a bad thing. But just make sure you're facing your property when you're hunting the property line. But as you can see here across the road here, uh, just remember those pines are growing back, and basically this red line represents, to me, unhuntable land. Just cause the pines are growing up, you really can't see in there, and this here in the front is right by the road. But along this tree line is probably the best place you can hunt those small pines, because those deers that basically like us, they don't want to walk through the middle of them if they don't have a trail through there. So they probably skirt along the tree line in order to travel between properties the easier way. But if you hunt the tree lines on the outside of these pines, you can find a lot of deer traveling through there. As you can see here, this is represents, we lease the property that butts up against that cutover, and in the corner here where the little man shooting a gun is where I hunt a lot, in that corner. And I always see decent deers walking just out of shooting range on that cutover, which is not our cutover, so I can't shoot that way, but I do see them traveling along that tree line on the back side of that cutover. And like I said, these deers don't want to walk through the middle of that cutover. They want to walk the edge of those tree lines for they can see and smell in that cutover, but not feeling like they safe enough to walk through the middle of that cutover. So those tree lines are gonna be your best bet when it comes to hunting a cutover like this, that's kind of open, and the main road comes down through the middle of it. But you know, that's just a thing. Cutovers are sometimes you drive by cutover, you see deers running through the middle of it, and you wonder why they're in the middle of that cutover in the middle of the day. But sometimes you just never know. I mean, it's not a exact science in the hunting cutovers, but if you want to raise your success level, you want to try to hunt the most probable places where these deers are going to be, and that is the tree lines. Some of these trails that come through the middle of those pines, like I said, those deers will go to the middle of that trail and just go off in those pines and just bed up for the morning or for the evening. You just never know sometimes. But to raise your level of success, you hunt your tree lines and try to get you some food plots close to those tree lines, and I think you'll be more successful. So just make sure you put your food plots next to tree lines and hunt these tree lines that separate these properties, and most likely in the back of these cutovers, next to other properties that have decent food plots. If you don't have food plots inside the cutovers, hunt the lines, but make sure you face your property when you hunt these lines. That just is not the law, but that's just the rule of hunting. I mean, don't hunt somebody else's land facing it. That's just not the right thing to do. But other than that, guys, I hope you appreciate the video. I do have another one coming, and other than that, guys, I appreciate you watching the video. Until the next hunting cutovers, we'll see you. Thanks for watching.